November's affirmation is I am confident, I am focused, I believe in my skills and abilities. Yes, we have 2 more months until 2022, so definitely don't sleep on yourself and don't sleep on nobody else. Happy November. Passion our purpose, profit our pain. I don't want my name to ever be in vain. A life full of substance is the only thing that will remain the same. Millennial thoughts. Welcome back to Millennial Thoughts, episode 5. Where we are talking about managing our money. Yes, last season 4, I did a whole season about money. I talked about like spending, I talked about credit cards, I talked about high yield saving. It was a whole bunch of stuff. But that was really an eye-opener to me though. Honestly, season 4, it was during the pandemic. So I mean, I had time, people had time, they were talking. And it was just like how to level up your money because everybody losing jobs, they don't really know what to do. They don't know how to navigate because they really was only having one income. So now you hear one income is kind of close to zero incomes, but then you're like, well, how can I get a second income? Like the time and stuff don't work out all the time. So I'm excited to talk about money management again and what I've learned and what I've adopted from last season, which was like July to like August. July. It was like June to August. It was actually a lot of episodes. But it was definitely an eye opener. And I got to learn different things. Not saying that I implement all of them because you got to have money to implement all of the things. But yeah, so I'm back in this episode and to talk about things that I've learned and to share with you all and to talk to Amber how we are managing our money as millennials and adulting. We don't have enough money. Somebody help us out, like sponsoring us to give us some more money. But yeah, check that other season out. There's like 12 episodes, but also listen to this episode. So check it out after this episode. If you want to go listen to the money season for season 4. What did you say?
I said, yeah, don't stop listening to this one.
Yeah, don't stop listening to this one, but just do it when this one is over. So yeah. I just thought about this because I really meant to put this on the schedule when we were talking about it. The introduction was, how did you even learn about money, or how did you manage your money? Like, who taught you about money when you were growing up?
Yeah. I think I talked about this on my Sipping Sunday, the first one, because it was actually Aaliyah's idea of putting in like your money story, which like aligns with your question. Shout out to Aaliyah from House of A Financial. Definitely look her up because she is amazing.
Yes, she's on the episode too.
But for me, I feel like I learned about money from my dad, but not so much like how to manage it. Like he would just always be like, why do you need that much money for that? Or like you need to get a job. And I did get a job at 15 and my first job was Cold Stone. And so I had my own money then. And then after Cold Stone, I worked at Stop and Shop, which I actually liked working at Stop and Shop. It was pretty cool. And then I was able to transfer when I went to college and I worked in the florist for a little bit too. So like that was fun. It wasn't like I was always at the cash register. But I think like I didn't really know how to manage money then or necessarily in college. It was like I just was getting money. Like I feel like I always had a job or something after I think I was 15 when I started at Cold Stone. And the only time when I didn't work was when I went to college my first year, but I did stuff on campus. Like I would be an open house tour guide or like do things that you would get money for, like working events or something like that sporadically. And then my sophomore year of college is when I worked at the Stop and Shop that was by the school. Junior and senior year of undergrad, I became an RA and like worked in SGA, and SGA you got paid. So I also feel like in college I had more spending money than I do now, which does not make sense to me because I make more money than I did in college. But I just feel like I didn't have responsibility or anything to like be paying for. It was like I was paying for stuff that I wanted to do and I wanted to pay for. But I don't think I really thought about like managing my money and saving it until my first professional job after grad school. And still feel like it definitely was like from my dad. But again, it's not like he taught me like how to save or what to save or like how do you make a budget or anything like that. It just more so was from him saying like you need to have money and you need to get a job and like you need to work. And I feel
Mhm.
like working just equated to like that's how you got money. And we thought that adults had a whole bunch of money when we were kids. And now I'm like, how do people have kids? How do you even have a pet? Like, how do you have anything
No, right?
besides
This
yourself?
my coworker was like, I'm trying to get a dog. I'm like, girl, and you already got a kid. Oh, my paycheck don't look too good for both of those.
And that's what I'm confused. Like, and talking about what we'll talk about with money management. Like, I'm just confused of how people do this. But I definitely think it was like when I said my dad, and then just even my sister to a degree, like not that I learned from her, but seeing to me that she had like money and she had like stuff together and she was affording her life. I don't even know if that's really like the truth or not. Not that like she was struggling, but like we're saying we now being adults are like, what the heck is this? This feels like pennies. So what was it like 10, 20 years ago with our parents and stuff like that? Like I feel like it was even worse. Like it had to be.
I think the market just rise and just kept rising and rising.
And
But the funny thing is, like a couple, no, like not even a couple days ago, yesterday, I posted something. I was like, here's an unpopular opinion. I'm not gonna have my kids working at 15. Like I was like, I'm not gonna make them work at 15 years old. My Facebook went crazy. Like I did not know I was gonna get that much response. I didn't know if it was an unpopular opinion or not. But then I was just like, I don't feel like I want my kids to be working because you got to work the rest of your life. Like I had that realization, like I got to work the rest of my life. Like if I was younger again, I would not even want to work that much. Like because I have to do it in after college and for
yeah,
years and years. And some people were like, well, how are you going to teach them this? How are you going to teach them that? I'm like going to work at a McDonald's that they don't care about, not teaching them. That's not teaching them hard work. And if you have to have a job teach your kids hard work, then that's where you messed up right there.
yeah.
That's my
Like
opinion.
I actually Cold Stone was like one of those places that didn't care, like you'd be working long hours and stuff. But Stop and Shop, they did because if you were a minor, like you couldn't work certain hours. So working at Stop and Shop, that's why I said I liked it. It was cool because I would be working 4 hour shifts like after school or like 4 hours on the weekend, maybe five, but they had better like regulations for the youth. So they weren't as bad as Cold Stone was. And thinking back to like I didn't feel pressure that I had to work, but because my friends were, for the most part, getting jobs and especially like working at summer camps or anything like that. So it also was like when your friends were at work, like you were just
What
doing
are you doing?
nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it was different because so going back when I was growing up, when I was really young, my parents, I got allowance, so I knew about money. So my dad's in the church, so he'd be like, okay, you need a tithe. And then he'd be like, okay, you need to save money for Christmas because that's when you get your stuff. So I kind of knew he was the one that taught me about it. So I kind of knew about money. I didn't really, so I knew about saving growing up because like he was like, you need to save your money, like you got to pay this, pay this. So I would do it a little bit, then I would get tithes and stuff like that. Not tithes, I would pay tithes and I would get like money for allowance. So I knew about it growing up. But then when I got older, like in high school, actually I had my first job at 15 too. So I'm not saying that kids should be lazy and not have a job, but I'm just like I was working at 15. That is because I wanted money. And it was just like a program and somebody says and I was like, oh, I can do this, but it was a ripoff because it was like internship. It was like you got like $500 and you work 3 months. The heck that gonna do for me now? Nothing. But it was just like something kind of cool, but I didn't really know too much about it. But I was gonna say that is like my friends necessarily didn't work. I lived on a base. So it was like it was only a couple places that you could work. You could work at the PX or you could work at the commissary. And you couldn't really work till like you were 16 or something like that. But at 15, I was able to become a bagger at the commissary. So actually, like they came to the school. So I was just like getting tips. But baby, them $40 a week, I would feel like I was on top of the world. Okay, 40, and then you work the
Now
weekend.
$40 is gas and maybe
Okay, one time. But I was on the weekends when they would get paid, you would get tips and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, this is cool. And then I had friends through there, but it wasn't really like a big city. So I mean, I wasn't like, oh, my friends are working or they're not working. And there was nothing to do. So honestly, you just worked. But then I was a bagger. So then I was like talking to the cashiers. I was just talking to people. And then I ended up getting hired like on my birthday. I had to be 16. So I had to wait. The program ended like August 1st, but I didn't turn 16 till August 21st. So then I had to wait. And then I applied and I got the job and I started working in October. So then me and my friend, we started working there and it was cool. I was making some good money though. I feel like I was making like either $9 or $10 an hour, and that was actually really good. Or 11, like $9 or $10, because that wasn't minimum wage, was like $7,
Yeah.
$7.25. And I'm like, what? This is some good money. So I was like, I'm gonna work through this or whatever. So it's like, it was good to have spending money. I don't really know where I was going too much, but it was good. And I mean, I learned it and I saved it and stuff like that. So I definitely get it. But I'm also like, if my kids don't have to work, if I'm about to be this millionaire, the rich parents, they be treating their kids. So why not? If I'm rich and I got the money, I'm gonna treat my kids.
Yeah.
That's
The
what
only
I'm
thing
gonna do.
with me, granted, this might not really like have helped me now, but like just thinking about it is that when I present to like students, I tell them this too. I was like, no matter how little of amount of money you're getting, still save something. Like if you get your $1,000 refund check, like take out $100 and put it in your savings account and like don't touch it. So I do wish, like looking back, that I had saved like a little bit here and there, because I really didn't get a savings account again until I became a professional. But that could just be me thinking about it too much, because I really might not have like used it, or I might have just spent it all and not still had it now.
Yeah, and that's true. In high school, I would say I probably saved more because my dad did tell me to teach me to save, and so the refund checks, like I'm a better saver. Like when I get big chunks of money, like my income tax, I can save that. Saving like Christmas, I can save that.
Save that.
I really wasn't as good as like saving smaller things till just like recently when I started a new job. Like my mentor was like, you should start saving $50 and see how it adds up. I'm like, okay, $50, $100. I'm like, I need that money right now though. So it's like different when it comes to that. So I do believe saving is important, just like I think investing is important. But I'm like, right now it's like I can't even really focus on investing because I just read a book. It's by Bula Sukumbi or something like that. Do you know her? It's called Clever Girl Finance. And it's like a book about like ditching debt, saving money, and like all this and that stuff. But she's like literally like, you gotta make sure that you're good. So it's like, I'm not trying to invest money and do things before I need to start doing it, because when you invest money, that money that you're losing, like talking about all that stuff like the Forex, talking about investing in the stock market, I need to make sure that I have 3 to 6 months rent saved up. I need to make sure I have at least $10,000 saved up, if anything happens, because when you start investing, you lose that money, all that money's going somewhere else, and then you don't want to take it out because then they try to give you the hell when you try to take your own money out. You'd be like, I'm confused. I put this money up in here. So that's what I have to say about investing, but that is also what I have to say about saving and like the money story. And I think that's really important because some people I feel like some people project like, oh, Black people don't talk about money, or like, oh, Black kids don't know this and that. I'm like, I think it just depends how you were raised and who you were raised with. My dad talks about money all the time, even to this day. He's like, oh, this, oh, you need to do this, whatever. Like, but he didn't talk about investing, but he talked about saving, paying tithes.
For investing so much before. I mean, maybe they were, but I think definitely in the past couple of years, and more so the past year, people have been talking about investing, but people don't realize that like your retirement account is a form of investing as well. Like you don't need to do
I'm investing.
You don't need to do something separate. Like you can do what you want with your money, but like you and your retirement account, 401k is investing. Like
investing. That's definitely true. Yeah, and so I think that's also a good thing. But here's the point: you can't really invest and save and do all this with your money when you're only getting like so much to live off and be living from. So it's not like your money can be split 10 different ways. Like it's hard. It's just not there. And that's why I think it's so frustrating. My dad's like, maybe you should get married. Maybe you should get married. Is that going to help me get more money?
You gotta get.
He's like, oh, y'all can split the bills. That's not going to give me no more money.
Yeah, and that's like,
but you can split the bills though. But
you can, but it depends on how you both want to go about managing your money, because some of these people, I'm sure you've seen on like Instagram and stuff, think that the woman shouldn't have to pay anything, which I don't agree with that. And then some people,
I don't think the woman should have to pay anything.
Well, then how are you splitting the bills? You just said,
and that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't be splitting no bills, so it wouldn't be helping him out. I just didn't say that part, but I ain't splitting no bills. It ain't helping him out. I feel like women, we have to cook, clean. We gotta have the kids. You can't have kids. People get mad at this, but you cannot have the kids. You do not have the whole home aspect. I mean, dang, at least pay the rent for your girl. Okay, I'll pay a phone bill, but can you pay the rent? I mean, can we have some lights? What'd you say?
This has taken a turn.
I mean, can't we do something here to help your girl out? Okay.
I don't know. I still don't agree with like not that I don't know. It just depends because it does depend on like how much do you make versus the husband and like what both of your lifestyles are and like what you like doing. And I mean, it does depend, but I don't know. Just off of
So you
like,
think y'all should split bills?
yeah,
Like the
and
rent?
that's what I was gonna say. Just off of saying like, should you split bills or not? Like, without getting into like the logistics and the nitty gritty of like who makes what, like how much is everything. I would say yes. And then it's like if you're not gonna split everything evenly, just figuring out like who does take care of what, and like making sure that like it's fair that like we're not making you pay all the rent when you don't make as much or like you're having to pay for other stuff or whatever. So
That's why you got to get a high value man. So you ain't got to pay for nothing.
oh my god,
That's what social media says. Every time about high value women, well, why there's so many high value women and not enough high value men?
and that's what I was gonna say when you're like, oh, that's what you need to do, but I'm like, but where are they? Like that also would agree or be okay with paying for everything because I feel like that's another thing of like I can't think of, and I mean, I could be wrong, but I can't think of any guy that I know right now that would be like, oh, yeah, I'll pay for like literally everything.
I know. And that's what's wrong. What's wrong with their mindsets? They need to be paying for stuff. I need an older generation. Okay, I don't really need older generation, but like, I don't understand like how that got lost and stuff. Like, you should want to provide for your family. I just think a man is a provider. And I feel like that's one way that you can provide for your family is like financially. I'm not saying that I was like, I will pay for the trips. I'm not saying I'm not going to pay for nothing. I'm just saying that I don't really want to pay for the rent. Because at that point, we roommates. If we split in rent, we roommates. You split rent with your roommates. Do you or do you not? Yes.
Well, I mean, I've never had a roommate that I had to split rent with.
Now that is true. You ain't never had a roommate before, but you split rent with your roommates. If you are married and you're supposed to be one, that rent check need to come out of one paycheck. I'm just saying. No, but for real, I like can see it depending on like how much you make definitely is true and where you're at in your life. I do think a man should be a provider, but I guess I won't I don't know if I want to say all the financial responsibility shouldn't be on him. I just know that I wouldn't want that burden. So I'm like, oh, look, you want to be a provider, you want to lead, you go ahead and lead to that bank, okay? And get that money because I don't want that responsibility. So,
well, now you do pay rent. So how do you manage that and your money and your bills? And this is your first
and I'm struggling
job, right? Too.
This is well, this is like not my first job, but like well, I had a job before this, but if you're saying like
okay, you did, yeah.
This is like my first, like I would say real job in my not in my career field, but in my degree. So like working in my degree, like benefits and all this and that stuff. But it's not like my first job. Oh heck no, I was doing all them other jobs with them kids and all that stuff.
Well, those were okay, yeah. I'm like mixing everything up because I'm thinking you like not just graduated. I know you graduated. What year was it?
I graduated in 2019. So this is like my real like I would say this is like a real job, like started from college, like a first career job, but now that this is going to be my career, if that makes sense. Yeah, like my other job was real too, but it wasn't paying me as much as this job.
And that's saying something because we know education already isn't paying much.
Not that much. Okay.
Too, and they're really not paying much out there.
I'm about to ask my president, can I rent a room from him? I said, I wish it was a small campus because baby, I'd be like, you got a room for me?
Oh.
Okay, period.
So then how do you manage your money now?
But I do manage my money. So we're going to talk about this. So before, okay, if y'all follow my story, I moved to Atlanta in July 2019. So before I moved,
July 2019 or 2020?
2020.
Because I was like, wait a second. I thought we just said
I graduated 2019 and I moved back. So I moved back in with my parents and I didn't really have a job, but I had savings. So one thing when my dad see my check, like I knew how to save in college. I knew how to save, but I was also getting some money from like college and like that. So I knew how to save. So I always knew how to save and I always had savings account. That's why I was wilding out in June 2019. But fast forward to June 2020, or July 2020. That's when I moved to Atlanta. But I still had savings because, well, first of all, we got with that pandemic money, and then I was working a little bit. Then I saved money, and then I was like, because I was supposed to be going out the country, I saved a little money for that. And so like I always knew to save, so I always knew to have like money for a rainy day. So then in August I started a new job, but I was like, oh my goodness, like this is not enough money for me. I need some more money. I need some more money. So then I ended up getting 2 jobs. I would not recommend because it was 7 days a week. But it was able to bring my money back up. So then I started saving. But after like listening and I'm doing the podcast episodes, I was like, okay, so I'm about to start and I'm about to have this apartment roommate situation, and I was like, I'm about to start paying real bills, because what switched for me was like when I was in school, when I did have to pay for rent, I would just pay it up. That's what I was gonna say. What helped me out, like when you get those residual checks and stuff like that, I just pay it up, so I didn't have to worry about rent. But now I knew that I'm gonna have to worry about rent. I'm gonna have to worry about
you paid rent ahead.
Yes, like in school and in grad school, like I would pay rent like January to July, or like August to December. Because I was like,
really good, because for me, like I never had to pay rent until February when I moved here, but I did have rent saved up until August from February, and then I actually now have it until, well, I'm about to have to send it, I think September maybe. But my landlord, he did say like, oh, you can just send me multiple checks at a time, which I didn't do. Like he was like, oh, I won't cash them until the date. But I didn't send it just because I have to actually mail the check. So I was like, sir, I'm not playing with the mail and sending all my checks at one time.
I'm not doing that, no. But I was with an apartment lease. So I was like, okay, I'm paying this up. So that's what they did. I'm like, because I don't got time, because then I have to, you got to remember too much. You got to remember the water, the this, the this, the that. And I was like,
that's why for me, I have to really remember, like I actually probably should send the check this week for August, because I need to remember to mail it. I wish that he had it, but he does not. So
oh yeah, no, that sucks. We just like send our money into our person. I better ask for a Zelle, a Venmo, a Cash App, or something. So that's what I did, and so that helped me. But then I heard like this thing about like multiple banks, like whatever, not multiple banks, multiple like accounts and stuff like that. So when I went off to college, I opened up a PNC virtual account. Like they were doing that for students, so it was free. I don't really know too much about it. Whatever, I got it, and I had to have a certain balance to keep it. So I got that balance and I kept it. So there's like a virtual wallet, then there's like a virtual reserve where you save money, then like a virtual spin or something like that. So I ended up having a savings account, a checking account, and then a bill account. So I just started like, so I knew how much my rent was. I mean, my rent was $550. I don't really care to share that. So my rent was like $550. By the time y'all hear this, I would have already done moved, so it don't matter. So I would save like money out my check. So I'd be like $550, like, and so I would put that in there. So I know that I would be in there. So I wouldn't be spending my money on everything else. So I feel like that did kind of help me. So I split my money into the like savings, bill, and then spend money. I feel like that really, really helped me. I have another account that I could save money in, but I don't really check that account because, like I said, I can't be moving my money too many different ways. So I can focus on what it was. So it's like I have rent money, I save it, and so then that really helped me. And then I was able to like not forget about when my rent was due, because that would be telling me every time they be like, the first is due, the first is due. So then I started doing that. And that was doing fine and stuff like that. Then I was talking to my mentor and she told me about Mint. So now I've been starting using Mint. And Mint, like, ooh, every time I see it, be like, how much you spent this week? I'm like, thank you for reminding me of how much I spent. I didn't want to know. But it tells you how much you spend. It tells you your credit score. Mint needs to sponsor us.
I use Mint. I stopped now though, because I when I first started being like, okay, let me actually budget my money, I use Mint. But then I was like overwhelmed because I was like, oh my God, did I really spend that much on food? But whatever. And then I stopped using Mint because I started using my own spreadsheet, because I would just go in there and put in everything. And to be honest, for the past couple months, I have definitely fallen off with like tracking my money as much as I did, because I feel like the pandemic made me slow down. One, because like I wasn't spending money, especially in the beginning, from like March to really like August. Outside of me moving, I didn't spend like a lot of money. Like I wasn't going out. We couldn't go anywhere. And I was doing cash envelopes, and I had gotten really good at that method, which I do want to get back to it. But again, after not doing it for so long and like not that I don't need to do it, but it was different before because I had one for like the trips that I was planning, for like my friends' weddings that I had to go to, for like Christmas, for stuff like that that I was looking forward to. But now, like, not that I don't have really anything to look forward to, but it's not the same. So I just get back into the mindset of doing it. But I did start with Mint. I still have the account and it will email me, but it's not really accurate because I'm not going in there and like changing the stuff. But my accounts are still linked.
Oh yes, I have the app, and it's like you save $300 to your 5,000 savings goal. Thank you. It's not that much. Oh, but it do be like, oh, your cash flow is more. So I'm like, okay, yes, these are good. This is positive. But I was gonna say, even before Mint, I actually did use a journal. My mom got me a Girl Just Want to Have Funds, and that's what I was using before. So I was like, okay, this is how much my rent is. This is how much I'm getting. This is how much is this. And then when it was 2 weeks, it was easy to know, and I would just put my money in there and just go. And I'm not really a budgeter person for real. For real. Like I just like to spend money. I'm like, I know it comes back or whatever. That's really kind of bad. But when you get paid every 2 weeks. But so then I was using that, then I did Mint. And then right now I am looking into doing cash envelopes because I'm like, baby, this out to eat, this going here. If I ain't got no cash for it, it ain't there. But the con about that is you got to go get the cash.
And the cash envelopes really did help me. Like some of my friends were laughing because I had a brunch one, and like budgeting, I mean, when you're making like enough money, and I use that like loosely, but like if you're making enough money that like you're paying your bills and you can do stuff that you like to do, you can budget for it. So it's like if I already knew I was going to be going to brunch, like I would, in the two checks, like average going to brunch in New York can cost you between like 60 to maybe $80, and that's like just depending on if you're getting like extra stuff. But I would always budget it. If you split it up between like two checks, that makes you seem like it's less money and it feels better because you're splitting it up as like 30 and 30 or 40 and 40 versus that 80 at one time. And when
I know that's the thing. I'm like, oh, getting paid once a month, it just come out all at once.
See, and I kind of feel like I'm not wishing this on me, so I'm not gonna wood, but I feel like if you can get into the routine, monthly can be fine because but you would have to be really dedicated because if you did cash envelopes, it would be like you would be good for the first 2 weeks, but then like by the end of the month, you're like, oh, I don't have money. So I feel like if you actually did cash envelopes or if you get paid monthly, however you want to split your money, you probably should just split it up into like 2 weeks and 2 weeks so that you don't like use it all.
That's what I was thinking. So I opened up another bank. I actually opened up a bank account with Navy Federal. I'm gonna look into that. And so yeah, I was doing like, oh, I could like split the paychecks up or something like that. But I'm like, dang, I ain't gonna have
but it's
no
like
money.
it's so much work you gotta do. The job should just pay you every 2 weeks.
Okay, yeah, I guess like in education and higher ed, they really do pay like once a month sometimes.
At Hawkins, we got paid the 1st and the 15th, which I didn't like because sometimes that would be like 2.5 weeks, or it would be like a random Monday, then a random Thursday, then a random Wednesday. It was just
instead of like every 2 weeks, like every Friday or something like that, or like every other Friday and stuff.
Now I get paid every other Thursday, which is good. I do like every 2 weeks versus the 1st and the 15th, and probably versus once a month. I've never had once a month, but
yeah, because every 2 weeks, sometimes you can get paid 3 times in a month.
Yes, you can.
However it works, yeah.
But that when that does happen, you feel good about yourself.
Yeah, something's like every 2 weeks or whatever. Yeah, something you can get paid 3 times a month. I'm like, okay, y'all, that's what I'm saying. So yeah, so I feel like I'm good at kind of managing my money, but I'm trying to do better because everything's going up, rent's going up, this going up, that's going up. And so that's why I want to use cash envelopes now because I think that they'll better help me. So I'm trying to find some cute cash envelopes to be able to like put my money in there, use it. And when it's gone, it's gone.
Those were cute.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. Maybe
I had printed ones because I wanted to see like was I gonna stick to this. And once I stuck with that for a while and I got into the habit, I ordered them off Amazon.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, okay, am I gonna really do this? But I'm like, yeah, looking at my budget, I really need to do this.
Or even use regular envelopes in the beginning to see if you're gonna like stick with it and get into the habit, and then buy like the sturdy ones.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if I do have envelopes already. I think I do have some. But yeah, I want to get into that. Oh, also I incorporate no spend days. Like today was a no spend day. Oh, child. I do no spend days. I don't really plan them per se, but I'm like, okay, oh, I didn't spend no money today. Oh yeah, I didn't spend no money today. But sometimes I do plan. I'm like, okay, tomorrow I'm not spending no money. I'm like, if I spend a lot of money, I can't spend no money. I done went to Apple and I cashed out. I can't spend no money the next couple of days. Okay. It just ain't in me.
And it's like sacrifice, which is just
is another thing. And so speaking on that, I would say that is why I meal prep, and that really helps me manage my money. I meal prep for like 2 or 3 days, like working or whatever. I work 3 days at home. 3 days in the office and 2 days at home. So when I'm at home, I just eat whatever. But like no one like going out to work, I'm like, no, I don't want to spend that much. I don't want to spend money. That's like $30.
Honestly, okay, I'm again, God, please don't take this as like a let's keep it rolling. But going to work, like to the office, has helped with spending money kind of. In the beginning it was rough because like I wouldn't be thinking like, oh, I gotta get food, I gotta do this. So I would be buying food out. It helps with going with not spending money because going to the office, like I gotta commute and then I'm tired at the work, so like I'm just gonna go home. Or if I do get something, it's like I'm just gonna go get like one ice cream or something like that. Like I'm not going out as much. And then because I'm trying to get on a better schedule again, like I'll just go to work, I'll come home, like work out, eat dinner, go to bed, wake up and do it again. So it's like there's no in between time for the lollygagging where you can spend money. It's the weekends though that will like get me because I'm like, oh, now I got time.
Okay. Now I got time for real. And that is what's get you. And that's why I be staying at home. One time I was supposed to go out to like the Battery or whatever with this like group of girls or whatever that was having it, and then she's a YouTuber, so she made a video. She's like, girl, she's like, I spent $80 on this. It was 50. I said, oh, I'm glad I didn't go $80, $100. Glad I didn't go to that.
One thing, like, I mean, I like definitely liked going out and stuff pre-pandemic. I still like going out, but I feel like I can't stay out that late. But two, because I pay rent, like that is a huge chunk of money that I was not paying before.
Yeah, girl, you see how we feel now? You was brunching every weekend. We like, I'm like, dang, no, I'm not brunching this weekend. Oh no, Amber ain't gotta pay no rent.
Tell people no, like you can't spend all that money, like, or like not even that, like sometimes you might not have the money, but like you can say no to what you don't want to spend money on, and people really get offended. This is not your money. This is my money. If I don't want to spend money on that, I shouldn't have to spend money on that.
Yeah, I had to do that. I was so sad. It's like, but sometimes I want to do something, but I'm like, can I really fathom like spending $70 in one day, like doing 2 activities, or am I just gonna have to do one activity and just keep it moving? Like, yeah, one of my friends, she just be spending money. I'm like, girl, my money don't be coming in like that. Like, I just can't live. I can't live with no dollar to my name.
Yep.
I cannot do that. And so I'm like, I gotta think about this. Like, I'm moving. We talked about this. Like, I'm moving. I gotta pay probably for some movers. I gotta pay first month rent, deposit. Like, I just really can't spend my money. And then when you only get paid once a month, good gosh, it's just like.
And even like aside from that, like getting paid once a month, this is what I also don't like about just any pay schedule, because the 1st and the 15th of Hofstra, like I said, was like a little wonky. Most bills though are due like the 1st or the 15th for me, or the 31st. And I did change them, some of them, to be aligned with that, because it's not even like you don't have money to pay the bill. Like for me, and like how you explained too, I have like a savings account, I have my rent account, my spending checking account, and then a bills account. So if the bills account hasn't gotten the money because I haven't gotten paid yet, that's not because I don't have the money. Like it's just not in that account. So I feel like that bill collectors and just like due dates of payments need to be flexible or not give late fees. I mean, if you're like consistently late or you just are not paying, that's different than like you're not paying because you didn't get paid.
You have to get, yeah, that is. Sometimes they do that. Sometimes you can change it, but I'm like, shoot, it got to come out. Either come out before or after.
I tried to change it for my car, and I think I did change it once, but then I tried to change it again because like I got a new job and it was a different pay schedule. And they're like, oh, you can only change it like but so many times. And I'm like, but it's not my fault that my pay schedule changed.
Yeah.
I don't have the money. It's just money is in a different account.
It's like, yeah, it's like when they read, when they do, it's like, no, like y'all should do it where like everything comes the 2nd, because people get paid the 1st or the 31st or the 15th, like the 16th. Yes, like your bill could be due the 13th. And it's like, well, I don't get paid till the 15th. They don't care.
Yeah.
Water should be free anyways. So if I'm a politician, I'm free water.
About this, as we can see, I didn't realize. What? I said I'm just getting worked up about this, as we can see. But I, again, not paying rent before this, didn't realize that. I mean, electricity I knew was separate, but water and trash, what are we paying extra for? I mean, thankfully at my apartment I don't pay for trash or water. I just pay for electricity and rent.
Yeah, you pay for water, you gotta pay for trash and this dang
For
trash
what?
can.
For
Like
what? For what?
landfill is free.
And
And
even
I pay
water,
taxes.
like the rent price isn't enough for water. Like I'm confused. Just including.
Yeah, but some of the apartments they're like, oh, that doesn't include water. I mean, dang, thank you. I went to some apartments, they didn't include microwaves. So y'all ain't got no microwaves, y'all ain't got no washer and dryers. What do y'all have except for space? Y'all are not giving me anything. I don't care about a view.
They're giving you a box.
I don't care about views at all. I care about stuff in my apartment. And you're not providing nothing to go into my apartment, so it shouldn't be that much money. Honestly, I think one bedroom apartments are what $1,000 is way too much for one bedrooms.
Oh God, I don't
Way
know.
too much. What are you giving me? A bedroom and a bathroom?
It's not like you get furniture. You got to bring that.
Okay.
Expensive too.
That's what I was like. I was complaining when I was in student housing, but I guess that was good because you paid that much money. I think I paid like 500 or 600, but you got, well, no, I think it wasn't provided. No, I think it was furnished. It was furnished. Like everything was furnished. You just had to come like bring, I guess, like your bath stuff, your kitchen stuff, but there was a bed and everything. I'm like, do I need to go back to student housing?
Honestly, I mean, and sometimes I think about that again because like if you listened before I mentioned it, or if you like listen to any of my other stuff, I lived on campus until February, and even when I lived on campus at the other not other job, the same job I'm at, but when I lived on campus when I first moved, I was paying a little bit for rent, but it wasn't like rent money. So paying rent, I don't know if I would necessarily go back to on-campus housing. I feel like they would have to be giving me like a house or something if I'm like a dean or like staying in a director role. But I don't think I would go back to like on-campus apartment living and like the hall director type of stuff. Because the best apartment I lived in was when I was in Miami, and that had a private entrance and was renovated and like brand new. But some of the schools and like living on campus doesn't sound bad when you're thinking about you don't have to pay rent if your job's providing it. But living off campus and your peace and just the lack of kids running wild around you just seems better.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm like, hold on, I might could do that. I might could do that for a free couple of years of rent. I was thinking about it.
I don't know. Well, one friend has gone, was on campus and then moved off campus and now is back on campus. I don't know. Again, we don't know what the good Lord has in store, but as of right now, I do like living off campus.
Yeah, because you get your piece, you get to like separate. It's more easier to separate, like work from home and stuff like that. That is really cool too. But maybe when that rent come out, you be like, oh, hold up, let me.
Exactly. And I mean, sometimes I feel like because I have this separate account, I'm not thinking about it. But when I look at the account, I'm like, wow, this was way higher, a couple months ago before we had to pay the rent. And now every month it is dwindling.
Yes. So are you team no roommates? Like, would you not move in with a roommate to save money?
It's funny because my one friend, she also lives in Baltimore, and we got new jobs at the same time, and we moved in at the same weekend. But I found out I got my apartment like before she knew she was gonna need this job. And that was the one person I was like, I wish we knew and it aligned differently because I would have lived with her and split it. But I can't really think of many friends that I would want to live with. But if I have any that I would want to live with, we don't live in the same place. And like we never would live in the same place because I feel like trying to find a roommate that you don't know, I would never want to do. But if I had somebody that like, I was friends with and felt comfortable living with them, like, yeah. But I don't.
That's what happened to me now. I'm like, do I really want a random roommate? But then do I really want to pay that price? So I don't know. It's just all a struggle.
I don't. I mean, and some people have had random roommates and it works. And I mean, you think in college you have a random roommate, but it's different when you have to pay like the rent because you want to make sure like they can actually pay it. That's not like crazy.
My one friend had a roommate, but at her apartment, it wasn't student housing, but they got to pay separately. So it like didn't fall on her. And I was like, oh, that's good. But now I guess they changed the rules. Because like you really don't know these people. It's like, do y'all want your money? Y'all don't want your money.
Yeah. So I don't think I would ever do a roommate. Even living with a spouse is like, I mean, I'm open to that idea, but like don't know how that would work. And I literally just asked my friend on the phone, like, how has that been? Because it sounds all good and dandy, but then again, when you think about like you have lived by yourself for so long.
So long. That's why I said it's really gonna be hard. If I live by myself, if I get to 30 and I live by myself, baby, 30, 35, it's a wrap. I asked my coworker today, I was like, so how's it being married? She's like, it's all right.
Nobody's giving good reviews. Like everybody like it's cool, but or like they did X, Y, and Z. So I'm like, so what's the good part about this? Like aside from things are cheaper, what is the good part about this?
Things are cheaper. Like, okay, can we get some like love? Like, oh, it's fun doing this. Like, okay, we get to hang out. Like, it's all right.
Yeah,
one thing she was saying, so I think she was saying it was all right because she was like, she's used to her freedom, basically. Like she's like, I could spend money, I could do this, I could do whatever. But now she's like married and she has a kid and stuff like that. I'm like, girl, you still can do it. And then she was like, well, no, because now I have a husband, so I gotta be mindful. I said, oh yeah, I was talking to my dad about that too, about like money and stuff like that. But I'm like, you have your own money. Like, I gotta be mindful. If I have money in my checking account, I'm not asking you, can I do anything? I'm sorry, but like
Black Love, they were talking about finances and how they like split stuff up. And like some of them, most of them, the wife was who like controls it because the man was like, I don't do this well. So like
if I control the money, baby, out of here.
And then the one guy was like, yeah, I get an allowance. And in the beginning, I was like nervous to say that around my friends or like didn't want to tell people like she's giving me an allowance. But like after time went on and like I realized how she manages the money, like I've been telling everybody, oh, I got my allowance, we can go out, X, Y, Z. And I'm like,
I think it's funny, but then also you really got to know like responsibility, like who's going to manage the money the best. If it ain't you,
like, money like unfortunately controls like too much because it's like if you can't manage your money correctly, like you can be getting kicked out of houses, you can be getting your car taken away, you can be
that ain't cute getting it repossessed, whatever.
Yeah,
getting eviction.
I mean, life happens and like say a pandemic and people losing jobs, stuff like that. But if it's just like you mismanage
you as a person, yeah,
that's like
and I think that's what people like are getting. I know we're like taking a different conversation, but money comes up in relationships. And I think that's what people get confused about. They're like,
people don't talk about it for a
or they be like, you want a man with money. Well, why would I want someone broke? Like, I don't want a broke man. Like, that is not what I want. But then also it does come to think, I think that people are thinking like, oh, she just wants me for my money. Well, first of all, you ain't got that much money. So that's not what we want you for. But it is a thing of like, okay, do you have a good credit score? Like, do you know how to manage your money? Because you can not have that much money, but you can still know how to manage it. But also you can have a whole bunch of money and not even know how to manage it.
Yeah. And then also like your credit score again is something else that like shouldn't matter as much, but it unfortunately does because like getting a car, getting a house, even
I guess it don't matter in a relationship. Well, like if you're single,
but I feel like it would matter in a relationship still because you
I got my own credit though. If your credit is good, you can't worry about his.
Well, yes and no though, because like say like you are gonna get a house, you can put it only in your name because like you have better credit, but then like what happens when, or God forbid, like you split or something, and then his name's not on
it? It's my house.
But yes, but like you don't want to pay for this full mortgage and house though. So
it's still my house though, because it's my credit. And yes, he paid money, but boy, he should have had better credit. I'm just waiting. That's rude. But if we split, I really feel like dudes, honestly, like depending on how people split, I feel like dudes be like, no, I'm over it. I'm moving out. I'm going. I'm getting somewhere else. But what if he's like, okay, no, I'm going. Because then he gonna be like, well, now you gotta pay for it by yourself. I'm not helping you. They trifling like that. And I'm like, cool. That's why I saved a whole bunch of money when I ain't paying nothing. Now I got it.
That's honestly true too. It's just
you gotta have a say. Women out here, see, that's how they got played up. They got played on the movies and Tyler Perry. They have no savings. You gotta have a savings account for yourself just in case anything happened.
Not Tyler Perry though.
Yeah, Tyler Perry. Helen got kicked out. You seen Diary of a Mad Black Woman?
Yeah,
Helen got kicked out. That wasn't my favorite movie. That's my favorite movie. They be like, this is my house. Now this is my house, and Helen got kicked out and she ain't have no money. And I mean, there's other shows too, like women don't have no money. That y'all need to have a savings account. Just keep it on the hush. He don't gotta know.
What a time. What was the other thing we said? That all tied together. What we said,
it did. We were talking about budget, but I was thinking about increasing income too. But yeah. when we were talking about like budgeting, but then also talking about how people are like, you can increase your income, but then like, what are the ways to increase your income? We just need to get paid more. But I was going to say like side hustles, I feel like can't help it. But like I was talking earlier to my dad, and I'm like, yeah, I could do DoorDash and I could do that stuff, but I'm like, I'm putting so much miles on my car that the money's gonna go to my gas money. Like every order you do, like that money, like that first one is gonna go to your gas. Then you're gonna have miles. And I was like, I need to find something else to do, because like if I keep putting money in gas and putting money in miles on my car, it's not gonna work out for me in the end. Yes, quick money now, but it's really not gonna do nothing for me.
Yeah, and that's like the thing too. I feel like increasing your income, that's definitely one of the biggest things people say when they're like, oh, you want to make more money or you need more money because you don't make enough for like your bills or whatever it is. But it's not that easy to increase your income if you have a full-time job. Like I feel like if you have a part-time job, like okay, work more hours or try to seek a full-time job, like that's a different like level up of your income. But if you already have a full-time job and you're salaried and
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Because if you're hourly full time, you can increase.
Yeah.
But if you're salary, you really can't increase.
Yeah.
And that's the hard thing about it.
Yeah. And so, I mean, for me, I feel like when you're salaried, it's hard because unless your job does like raises, which like my past job did every year, but I don't really feel like that's that common. Because any other school, even if I like interviewed and asked for it, they kind of like look at you like you're crazy. And I'm like, okay, cool.
They ask when you ask for what?
If they do merit raises, because like my past school, we did have merit raises. So every year you would get an increase. But most places, like at least other places I've worked, don't do that. And then increasing your income is like the only other way is to leave a job. But it's not hard to job search. It's just another job to job search. Like you have
then
to,
it's hard because it's a job.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
I think
apply, take the time.
Yeah, I think it's like the job search is not really hard because you see all these jobs coming, but it's just like the fact of like applying for it and then hearing all these no's and it's the time in it. It's time consuming. And so it's like you get off your job, you work, and then you want a job search. Like that is definitely time consuming. That's why I ain't job searching. I'm gonna be right where I'm at. Okay. Period. Because that is a lot of work.
I also feel like that. So, like, from my current income, like, I can pay my bills and do like some things here and there versus like before, like I said, when I didn't have to pay rent, that was like I could be living my best life more. Now I need to live my best life more responsibly. But then it's like, I don't like that. But nothing's come up that I needed like a whole bunch of money at all. But at the same time, it's just a thought that like when I tweeted about this that I had to go to the doctor and had to pay like $400 for that, which I was like, what the heck? And I still need to actually call my insurance to be like, why the heck did I pay $400 for this? And then
because insurance is a scam.
That's a whole nother story. And then in that same week, I had to pay like almost $600 for my tires on my car.
Bro, don't even talk about tires. They stress me out.
So it's like all that stuff happened. And again, like I had to.
And it'd be back to back. Nothing happened. And then be back to back. You'd be like, dang, hit it.
Exactly. Like that's what annoys me is like on a regular day with no issues, I make enough to like do whatever I need to do. But it's like when something comes up, I mean, I have a savings account, but you still don't want to use your savings.
It's like, is it a savings account, emergency account? You like what? Yeah, what you want to spend? That is what I was saying. So I was on Facebook again, and it was like after 25, I heard like you go downhill or whatever. It's like what's something that I should think about? What's some things or whatever? And I was like, I feel like I'm about to turn 26, but I feel like I'm struggling. And then this girl was like, well, why do you feel like you're struggling? Like, what do you expect? What do you have? And I'm like, social media is making you want this and that. I'm like, and it could be social media, but even at the beginning, like at 26, I'm like, I graduated, like I should be in my career, like I should have like 3 years already, like I should be up here making some money where I don't have to live paycheck to paycheck. I just feel like I don't want to have to financially struggle. And then I read something that's like affirmations, like you are where you are, but the money is not where it's supposed to be residing. Okay.
But that's like what you're saying too, because I don't think I realized you're gonna be 26. I don't know why I thought you were older.
Somebody said that. This girl's like, I thought you were way older. I was like, well, she's like, yeah, you're so mature for your age. And I was like, yeah.
Good point though. You're still saying because like I'm gonna be 30. We're 4 years apart, and I have worked for 7 years. And I mean, again, I'm not saying I don't have money, but it's not like I'm out here balling like I'm not balling at all. There's no balling. There's no double nothing. I just want to actually go back and clarify.
It's like, but
that's a
like,
good point too. It's like that age doesn't mean you have more money. Like,
and that's true, but see, that's why I'd be like, somebody lying because they said when you get in your 30s, you
I
make
mean,
more money.
in a month, let's hope the money starts flowing.
The money comes through. Okay, I attract money, whatever that manifestation is, come through. But when I started this job, I'm honestly the youngest person on the team, like in my cohort, which I was confused.
Too, actually. Like, I think I said I think I'm one of the youngest people at work too.
And so I'm just like, I don't really like to, I'm not tracking nobody's money, but I'm like, I'm the youngest person in my cohort right now. So I'm just like, and I'm about to be 26. I don't know how old these other people are, but I'm like, how are y'all doing this? I am struggling. And I was like, I thought I'd be more financially stable and stuff like that. And she's like, well, no, it takes time, do this, do that. I'm just like, I have 2 degrees out here, plethora of experience. I just didn't think that this is where I was going to be at. And I like, you can say it's social media, but then you also say it's you. I would say social media is more now because it's like, okay, like, nah, I drop shit. Okay, I sell bundles. Okay, I'm a YouTuber. But
what I really want to know is like, I mean, again, it's not anybody's business, but like, I really want to see like bank accounts because there's tons of people that are like, oh, like make $100,000 in a month, and I'm like, I'm confused. And then they're like, oh, like post consistently, like find your customers, like make sure you're marketing.
We're doing the same thing. And no $100,000 coming through. No.
Exactly.
But they be doing ads, and I feel like that's all they be doing. But some people like they have money, but honestly, it's like the freedom. Like, okay, they'll go do some DoorDash, they'll go do some shit. Like they're not working a 9 to 5 like that, anyways. And then they probably take classes. It's like your business made $100,000, but what did you make? So that's another thing. Like it's like they don't be telling the truth, and they be wanting you to buy this, do this, do that. And I be like, I'm over the internet.
That's actually something else I realized too is like when people will be talking about increasing their income and that they started another business and they're making a whole bunch of money, that doesn't, if they have like employees or like their websites that they have to pay for, and that's even something that like I feel like I struggle with like the adulting queen is that I've made money from it, but it costs money to have my website, to have the domain, to have different things like Zoom.
And that's what I struggle with because that blog maybe cost about $300.
And people don't know that, but it's like you shouldn't have to always like say that to people because even with the sponsorships for All Black Everything, like I'm glad that I did it and I've gotten like a couple of monetary and a lot of product or service donations. But some people are like, well, why do you need sponsors? And I'm like, because this is a business and I have to pay people. I have to buy my website. Like I have to buy stuff like merchandise, things to just, keep the business going. So like,
okay.
Being like, why? And also just
why don't you need a sponsor?
And just like money to just like grow my business too and like do things that I want to do for the future. So like, I don't know. I had to like kind of just be like, okay, I know not that people don't understand it, but it's like when you are trying to like expand income or grow something, it's hard because people aren't like,
yeah, that's why I gave up on it. Like I gave up on it. I want to do something different, but I'm like, I hate trying to beg people for money. Like even with like the media stuff, like, okay, yeah, but y'all are wasting my time and my money and like this stuff that I learned. Like that's why I never really thought of it as a business. I think now I'm going towards the business, but it's like I'm a blogger. I write, like I don't like the business aspect of it because first of all, I don't know what the heck I'm selling. I just figured out what to sell for my podcast. So by the way, for my podcast, the merch is coming soon. I'm doing diaries, so make sure y'all get it together. But yeah, but I'm like, it's so hard. And so it's like that, like true, that's the blog. And let's not even talk about how you have to buy stuff if you want to edit stuff, like if you want to have good editing and stuff like
exactly.
that. Movie premiere and stuff like that.
It's like small things you don't even like think about, or even like mailing stuff. Like it's a lot.
Yes.
Yeah,
business cards and all that stuff. So I think people are just saying like, oh yeah, let's start a business, but it's like you don't really know how much it really costs. So now I'm going on the opposite side, and I'm like, I'm just going to save my money and then start a business. Like I'm gonna save my money because I want to have a boutique. I want to open a boutique. I want to do my drop shipping business, but I'm like, if I keep dishing money out and I'm not bringing nothing in, I'm losing value. So now I need to like save money because I tried to do that in the pandemic and didn't really quite work out. But I was able to open my mind to it. I was able to see it. So I'm like, okay, I need to set this much money in that aside. I need to save this money, but good gosh, I can't really save for the business until I save
Yeah.
for my housing situation.
Like, I mean, we're not, this isn't really deterrent because it is still all about money management. But like, I finally made, when I first was starting and wasn't getting like a lot of money, but I would get like people cash out me for my mugs or like events before I had my website. I had made the Cash App so that could be like the money separately, like for the business. And then I made, what did I? So, oh, I was putting like the money into my rent account too before I had made it an LLC again to save up for like rent. But now I finally made like the business bank account to keep like everything separate because even though like it is like my money, I still have want to do for my business. So I don't want to keep mingling everything all around and then like not forget, but like not actually use that money on the business, which actually is like not difficult, but like it is another form of money management because if you're like not a big business and it's just you and like another person or even just you still have to separate those things so that you're not like just having money everywhere. Like you need to be able to manage.
It. Yeah, and it takes a lot of money because I'm like, I would love to do like Zooms and I would love to do that, but I'm like, what do I want to spend my money on now? I know what I could do now. So like for the podcast, or I want to start something. I'm like, yeah, but if I do the monthly things, I gotta pay for Zoom every month. Well, how much the heck is that? That's $300-$400. And it's like, but you don't even know what it's gonna be. So I'm like, let me start off with these free things, even though I don't even like them too much, like Instagram and all that stuff. But it's like you got to pay for that, then you got to pay for the blog, then you got to pay for the podcast, and then Lord knows if you want to start merch or whatever, and like you do have Patreon and stuff like that, but then you have to push out double content. I'm just pushing out one thing, so it really does come a ways of like when you want to start your business and to manage that money in there, because it's like, okay, now I got to pay for this, now I got to figure out how to pay for this, now I got to set this aside for this or whatever. So it really can be confusing, and that's why like money, I feel like should be talked about more than everybody says that. But one thing I wanted to say was like, well, how I said growing up, I talked about money. I feel like people are really private about their money, but then I feel like that kind of holds us back. Like, I don't know necessarily like my friends or whatever, like we talk about money, but we don't really talk too much about money. But I'm just like, I feel like if people talked about money more and they make it taboo, like I'm not saying I really want to know like how much you got in your 401k or like, I don't know how much you got saved or whatever, but like my friends were like, oh yeah, I got this much saved or whatever. But like, we never really talk about like how much we make a year and how much we don't make a year. But I was like, I don't know if that's just because my family talked about money like that and other families don't talk about money and they keep it shy. But I'm like, at the end of the day, people do say like you hang out with your circle, you do, but people's money is social status, you know?
Yeah.
It's like,
No,
I don't want to say it like that.
Oh, go ahead.
What'd you say?
Oh,
no, you're fine. What were you saying?
I was saying that was
all. Well, I was saying I don't want to say like.
Oh no, sorry. I think one of our Wi-Fi is lacking. I was just gonna say like that. My tip would be like what you're saying of like just talk about money more, and that for my friends, I feel like we do. And I think that honestly, like doing Sipping Sundays helped my friends and I talk about it more because once they saw like, I'm not saying that I have it all together, but I have like some tools that help me. Like I'm not like in here just blind to have like no knowledge about it. So I feel like that helped because like some of my friends would be like, oh yeah, like, I have credit card debt. And I was like, well, if you don't mind me asking, like, how much do you have? And again, it's not like I'm telling their business like, oh, Alicia, like this is what my friend just said that they have in credit card debt. Like I'm trying to like build the trust so that we can talk about that more, and then just asking them and checking in with them about like, oh, how's it going paying off your credit cards, like how much you have saved, like how much are you trying to save. And I'd be asking people too how much do you pay for rent, which I don't think should be like a disrespectful question or like you said taboo. I'm just trying to ask because again, before paying rent now, I did not have any idea of how much rent actually costs. So
so like you really didn't know.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm saying. People really didn't know. And true, because I was an RA too. So like you really don't know how much stuff is and whatever. And so I asked my friend, like, oh, how much is your apartment or whatever? And then she told me like one of her friends, we like money map because I was like, I need some more money. So she's like, okay. I was like, I want to make at least, I was like, I want to make 5,000, like 5,000 like extra. I was like, that's how much I want to make a month. And we money match. Like we talked about money. She's also an entrepreneur. And then I feel like picking people's brain too, because she's good. Like, so I'm like, okay, I could talk to you about credit cards. Okay, I talk about taxes. If you never really bring those things up, then you don't really ever know like what people can do and what people don't know. Like, oh, you got a credit card from your bank. I didn't even know credit cards banks even had credit cards or something like that. It's like,
Yeah.
so I think that the more we know can go. And even in investing, I don't really invest, but I talk to my friends about investing. But I've always been business minded. So I'm like, okay, I want to do a coffee shop. Okay, I want to open up a studio. Like, I want to do stuff like that. But my friends are like, well, I don't want to do it right now. But then they're like, well, why don't you talk about this to me? I'm like, well, y'all don't want to talk about it. But when I bring it up, y'all be like, y'all don't want to talk about it.
You like with your friends, all of us just say we don't want to work. This is ghetto. If people really came together and put money together to do a business and like push it out and like really focus on it, I think that it could grow. The issue is it's really hard to like get your friends on board with like what you're doing or like a business thing because you just think like you don't want to do that with your friends. But it's like if we're all already talking about this and we all bring different things to the table, why can't we just come together and like build something so that we eventually like don't have to work?
Yeah, I would love to open businesses with my friends because I would know like their strengths. I would know their whatever the heck the other word is, strengths and weaknesses, and like what they can do and what they have doing. I think that it'll be fine. But also, yeah, you do got to choose the right friends because every friend ain't really business minded. Because when I'm like, oh, boom, my friends like want to do something, I'm like, okay, I want to do it. Like, let's do it right now. Let's figure it out. Then we see how much money it costs. We're like, okay, hold it, bring it back now, but bring it back. But we're all like, okay, we're trying to work on this. We're trying to do different things like that. So, I do think like people should talk about it more because even like with the different industries, if I would have known when I was younger, I was like, it don't matter. I just want to change lives. Like, and if I would have known now, like you don't have to work in your passion. If you want to make money, go ahead and make your money and do a nonprofit for your passion. You don't have to work in your passion and not make no money.
Yeah.
But of course, that's not what I was hearing. So the benefit of managing your money is definitely getting more money. But it's also knowing and being able to have those conversations and talking and stuff like that and learning. And maybe your parents, maybe your coworkers and your friends, maybe they have better tools for you to be able to use to help you manage your money because we really don't want to live paycheck to paycheck. But I mean, that's the reality of some people, like they live paycheck to paycheck.
I would just say like again, my final tips, I'm just saying it again because it really is I feel like it's like the importance for everything is just to talk to people, ask questions, and then like look up stuff online or like watch videos or listen to stuff like this. But like don't just listen to one person and like take their word of like that's what you should do because for money management, it really is what works for you. And
yeah, that's what they call it, personal, isn't it? They'd be like personal finance or something like that.
yeah, and so that's why you need to listen and talk to like different people and get their perspectives. I mean, obviously, like for the most part, the things that will be constant is like you need to pay your bills on time. Like
Okay.
one, you want to try to get out of debt, like and pay your debt down. You want to save, but how you do that and like what you try to like I don't say like put your focus in, but how you make your money and how you grow your money and like how you try to increase your income is up to you. Because some people might like doing DoorDash or Uber or whatever, but it's not gonna work because you don't want to put that stress on your car and like your like time. That's fine. Just find something else to do.
Yeah, just find a side hustle. And I would say to look up Clever Girl Finance because I might butcher her name, but read her books and stuff like that because it really like breaks down. I like it's like a toolkit, it tells you. But I'm not there yet, but at least I'm learning and I'm engaging. And so like I really took like 2020. I was like, at least I'm exposed to it. Now I'm learning from it. So I know when I do get where I need to be, I know what to do. So even if you can't really even afford to invest save a lot of money, at least you can like buy a book for like $20 something like that and just read it and go back to a highlight. I just remember so you know like when you do get it, because right before my job I was reading the book and it was talking about retirement and then like Roth IRAs and this stuff like that, and it's like I do know about it, but it's like what does retirement really come with? Like what is the 401k or all those other KKs out? Not too many Ks but that I don't know about. But like
No, that's true though, because I feel like again, just stressing saving, like saving even just $5 a check, putting it into an account that you don't see it. At the end of the year, you will have $60. That will seem like it's nothing, but over time, it's going to keep growing, and that's
like a mental thing. Yeah.
seeing and like
Yeah.
way somewhere.
and yeah, do some challenges. And so now, like, I mean, I'm so salty, but like, even my job, like when I was talking about benefits, it's like, okay, now you gotta say retirement. I'm like, dang, okay, I'm not even thinking about retirement. But you know, retirement do come in about 40 years, but you like, I want to see that money right now. But you gotta know that when you put into it, that can grow one day, and that could be $1,000,000 if you keep putting up into it. So there's different ways to reach your success. There's different ways to become a millionaire. So I would just say, like, educate, listen to podcasts, watch YouTube videos, and like read, and then just like apply it as well. Now, I'm not applying all of it because I do want a high yield savings club thing. They talking about you got to put $1,000 on
The
something.
high yield savings accounts right now aren't giving the interest they're supposed to give, because I have one for Discover, and then even
what the Ally was good.
Yeah, but the interest rates have gone down though because of the pandemic and stuff. So like,
well, I'm gonna wait till after the pandemic.
And also, I want to correct my math, because I realized $5 a check if you get paid twice a week. I mean, yeah, every 2 weeks. That is $120 a month.
I'm with you. Okay, we know.
A month.
Okay, gotta know how to calculate. We can't be having.
I want to make sure people knew that I realized I made the mistake. That is not the right math.
Yeah, they be like, huh? I'm confused. What? But you even get even more. You get more. But I did hear the interest rates was better than regular banks, but that's true. It could be after the pandemic. But right now, like if you can only focus on just learning how to save, or just learning about investing, learning about different things that you want to invest in, that's all we are here. Eat, reach one, teach one. Ain't that what they say in church?
I think so. Or I thought it was something with a school, but it could be church too.
Oh, they might. I don't know if they say it in school, community centers, whatever they say it. But yes, so if y'all did like this episode, make sure y'all share it with a friend. Make sure y'all like, make sure y'all comment, and tell us your money management story. Tell us, like, what do you use to manage your money? Oh, somebody commented, and I was like, oh, how do y'all do this once a month thing? And this dude was like, oh, you could use YNAB. And I was like, what the heck is that? I heard somebody say before, and it was like, you need a budget. And then he was like, but you got to pay for it. I said, well, then I don't need it then, because I don't even know you need a budget. I don't need to pay to tell me I need a budget. But I am going to look into it and see what it is about, though. But I don't want to pay for that. Well, I'm trying to keep as much money as you can to yourself, okay? Except when you're supporting Black creators.
Yeah,
I'm just playing. But like, no, I don't need to pay for you to tell me that I need a budget. And budgets, they're trying to change the word now. You could call it a money plan. It's just what you can do. I'm not really a great budgeter, but I'm just like, I pay all my things and I spend. I pay, save, spend. Pay, save, spend.
Yeah, you also save first. Like, don't like spend money, then okay, I'm gonna save money. No, you need to like do.
Yeah, and like paying yourself and stuff like that. So them are the tips that I really have. To download, get a mint or get a budget, go to the dollar store, write down your things, write down when you get paid, write down when you have to pay, save a certain amount of money, and that's just gonna get you into the habit, because when you get more money, then you're gonna be able to save more money, and then you spend what you have left.
Yes.
I guess that's what it is. So yes, I hope y'all enjoy this episode. Any more last minute money management tips?
Talk to people. I'm gonna just keep saying it, because all you can do is talk to people and use your resources and like look up stuff and just start somewhere, because if you don't start, you're never going to get it together.
Mm-hmm. That is true. You do got to start somewhere. So definitely, I hope you all like this and y'all enjoyed this episode. So yeah, have a great evening, morning, whenever you're listening to this, and we'll see you all in a week or two.
Whenever.
Okay. Hey millennials, I am back with a special announcement. Millennial Thoughts Academy is launching in March. This is where we'll help millennials learn everything they weren't taught in school, side hustle edition. So if you've always been interested in starting a side hustle, but you don't know where to go, you don't know how to do it, you don't know how to brand or market or promote yourself, make sure you enroll into the academy. That is by following us on Instagram at Millennial Thoughts Pod, and you can email me or you can DM me and say that you are interested, or click the link in our bio. We are so excited to be accepting people for our academy next month. Spots will fill fast. So it is a 6-week program, and it is 1-hour meetings every week. And at the end of it, you will have your side hustle, you will have your social media, and hopefully you will have your first sale. So if that sounds like something that you are interested in, please, please, please contact me. Get with me on Instagram, Twitter, or even Facebook. I have a group. Facebook is called Millennial Thoughts, page and everything. And you all are the first people to hear this because you all are listeners. So I greatly appreciate it. Please reach out to me. I want to help you all start side hustle so you can either get that new stream of income, pay back your debt, or even use the money to travel. It's your girl Alicia, and she's out.
The Adulting Queen was made to help you navigate adulting because adulting is very, very, very ghetto. There's so many things that you don't know, you don't understand, and you are just winging it day by day. And that is why I created this platform. My name is Amber, and I'm the creator of The Adulting Queen. You can find me on Instagram at The Adulting Queen. Website is theadultingqueen.com. Facebook, The Adulting Queen, LinkedIn, The Adulting Queen, basically every platform, The Adulting Queen. Make sure you follow, share with your friends, because we are all just out here winging it and need support to make it through this adulting journey, which again is very ghetto. Like, I cannot stress that part enough. What I have done is host events, consultations, just post motivational things. And really, I hope by living my life out loud and authentically that that's inspiring others to do the same and to do it in a healthy, balanced manner. Again, because everybody does not have it figured out at all. And don't let anybody let you believe that they do. So again, follow me at The Adulting Queen, and thanks for listening.